We know the two main reasons for an FEQ program are number one, to let the training group or school know if the graduate was trained to the training standard, and two, the overall quality of the training that the graduate received in tech school. We've identified 5 key stakeholders, that is, people who have a vested interest in the training results. So now that we have the purpose and the stakeholders, in the next section, we will learn the steps a training evaluator will take to implement the FEQ program. The steps to implement an FEQ for an Air Force specialty are as follows. Number 1, pull the current training standard. Number 2, draft questions based off performance line items using the headings. Number 3, create survey for all questions in Qualtrics. Number 4, send the survey to stakeholders who are required to coordinate per AATCI 362651. Number 5, document coordination with the stakeholders. 6, update the survey based on feedback after you've coordinated with the training evaluation chief. 7, generate the QR code. Let's dive into each step a little more. For the first step, you're going to pull the current training standard. The current training standard should be published in the Career Field Education and Training Plan on Air Force e-publishing website. You can pull the current published training standards by typing in the Air Force Specialty Code, or AFSC. While the training standard is usually published, there are some exceptions. Sometimes a need will arise to create an FEQ for a supplemental course, like a faculty development course. The training standards for supplemental courses are not published on EPUBs, so you would need to get with the AETC training manager for the course. Additionally, sometimes training standards are updated due to Air Force needs and the page or line item changes have not yet been published. So after you pull the current training standard, you will want to verify with the AETC training manager that you have the correct standard the course is currently teaching. Once you have the current training standard, you will begin to draft the FEQ. In the Special Warfare Training Group, we draft questions based off the headings for performance training standards. What does that mean exactly? Take a look at the snippet from a CFETP. Notice that there are a combination of knowledge and performance tasks. Due to the large number of tasks for Special Warfare graduates, we will use the heading to create the questions instead of writing one question per performance line item. When doing this, a best practice is to include a picture of the training standard next to the question in Qualtrics so the rater can clearly see which items belong to that question. Once you have written all the questions, you will build a survey in Qualtrics. Some training evaluators prefer to write all of the questions in a Word document or an Excel file and then create the survey in Qualtrics. Other evaluators will write and build at the same time. For the purposes of this training, we will consider writing the survey a separate step from creating the survey in Qualtrics. In Module 2, you will learn how to create a new survey in Qualtrics, but for now, make a note that after the questions are drafted, you will build a survey, ensuring snippets of the training standard are included. Once the survey is created in Qualtrics, you are ready to coordinate with the stakeholders. Air Education and Training Command Instruction 362651, most commonly called AETCI 362651, outlines personnel that must be given the opportunity to coordinate on the FEQ before it is sent to the operational units. These stakeholders include all of the key stakeholders we mentioned earlier with the exception of the training group commander. So, according to AETCI 36-2651, the Air Force Career Field Manager, the AETC MAJCOM Functional Manager, the Training Pipeline Manager, and the AETC Training Manager must all be given the opportunity to coordinate on the FEQ. You will want to email them a survey link and QR code with a comment review matrix and allow them at least 2 weeks to provide feedback. Since getting stakeholder feedback is an important part of the FEQ program requirements, you will want to document that the stakeholders were provided an opportunity to coordinate, which is the next step. Let's recap. You did the first step of pulling the training standard and verifying it. You then created the draft of the FEQ, built it in Qualtrics, and sent it for coordination in accordance with AATCI 362651. The next step is to document coordination. To document coordination, you're going to create a PDF of the email that you sent to the stakeholders. Second, you will create and save a PDF of any responses with a copy of their returned comment review matrix, commonly called a CRM. If you have not received a response within 10 days from any stakeholder, you will need to send a follow-up reminder and save a copy of that as well. A best practice here would be an attempt to call them before following up with an email, and in the email mention the call. For example, Colonel Smith, it was a pleasure chatting with you today. I look forward to receiving your feedback on the FEQ for 19 Zulus by this Friday at close of business. At this point, you will want to take all the feedback received from the stakeholders and discuss it with the training evaluation chief. Since creating the FEQ is formulaic and stakeholders may want deviations, it is important to discuss any changes that do not follow the traditional process with your boss before making them. Once you and the evaluations chief have adjudicated the feedback, you can update the Qualtrics survey. And now it's time for the final step. Step 7 of implementing the FEQ for an Airforce specialty or course is to generate the QR code and URL. These will be sent to the operational units and accessed by supervisors of our graduates at their first duty assignment. You now know the steps to implement a field evaluation questionnaire for an Airforce specialty. In the next section, we'll look at the regulatory guidance that governs implementation of the field evaluation questionnaire program.